All right, I just put out the new books for the week, and it all kicks off with Batman, and apparently he's wanted. This is Batman Volume 3. They're finally trying to get around to wrapping this up. I'm not saying that Jim Lee is overworked, but Jim Lee may just be overworked. So this is Batman number 162. This is the Hush 2 storyline that they're working on concluding, and there's a nice little shiny one for us who are easily distracted, a lovely Derek Chew cover, and then I have a couple of these as well, and it's a little bundle deal of 158, and then the Ash Can Preview Edition. There it is. Ash Can Preview Edition. $15, $20 value, something like that. We'll do it for 10. And then this looks fantastic right here. I'm a huge fan of, as I think most people are, that are huge fans of Batman and DC, fan of the Batman Beyond and Terry and that whole universe that was created so many years ago, and they've treated it really well, and it's cool to see this little static thing happening here with Batman Beyond. Poison Ivy gets their first annual in that new series, and it is a fairy tale story, as you can tell from the Once Upon a Time on the cover. Here's you a fantastic facsimile. The JSA, after having been gone for more than a decade, make their first appearance, their return to comic books, and, well, there's the JLA to meet and greet them. I thought this was alright. We keep the DC KO stuff together because it's going to start increasing. There are a bunch more DC KO books coming, and I think we just did the FOC for a big bulk of them, and then there should be another round or two of them as well. I don't have any more complete sets of the new history of the DC universe. I have some issues of it. You'll have to wait until a collected work comes around to get that one, and it will be around very soon, and we'll have some. Last copy of V for Vendetta from last week. And speaking of Revolution, 1776, J. Michael Straczynski gets another run, and nothing but fun to be had there, right? Including some of the cool covers. There's this great wraparound homage cover right there, and there's a Joe Quesada cover as well. There's more. This is really neat here. Looking forward to this. I'll have to wait around until streaming, but I guess I won't have to wait to wait around until the streaming edition, because it's out in theaters right now and it won't hit streaming until February, it sounds like. But here's the story right here. Predator Badlands. This is This is really the first time that a Predator has been the protagonist in the story, and it seems to be doing really well. Like, sort of 7.5, 8 out of 10. People seem to like it. Not that I pay much attention to what other people think. Strange Tales, just my customers, just what they think I should be carrying in the store, or more specifically, putting in their pulls. Strange Tales, you know what it is. They do a run of it every so often, every few years or so, and you get some great characters and some great storylines in there, and the creators that get a chance to put their name on these sort of classic tales or classic anthology books like Strange Tales. So that's really neat. And I have a couple of number ones and a couple of number twos. Venom is back on track and headed towards Null number 1, Ultimate Wolverine, and of course Ultimate Endgame just around the corner. This was pretty fitting. So of course we're doing the Age of Revelation stuff. And by the way, again, none of the new issues of Age of Revelation made it to the shelf. They all went into polls. I have no idea where this came from. It's the last one. There's no way this is here when I get back tomorrow night. And let's see. So what I was starting to say is, with that going on, with the Age of Revelation going on, it was a good idea for them to drop this, Tales from the Age of Apocalypse. And this is the number 1 issues of Factor X and Weapon X and Amazing X-Men and Astonishing X-Men from back in the day, I guess, and depending on, whose day it was and how far back you go. The original Age of Apocalypse storyline and the number ones from there, and it looks like they're going to collect the rest of the story in order and put them out that way, so that'll be a really neat thing. A couple of copies of that running around. There's a new Star Wars number 7, Marvel Black, White, Blood, and Guts number 2 is there. Like I said, this will not be here when you get here. Spider-Man Noir number 2, Wolverine Revenge number 5, Red Band treatment on that. And then we finally get over here to the I don't know, it's all fun, but the different stuff, I guess, except that what do? We started off, right, with Fantastic Four and Gargoyles. I have just a couple of those left, and then, of course, Gargoyles, Fantastic Four. These are each one-shots, and they complement each other because, it's a tit-for-tat thing, right? The Fantastic Four guys get to do Gargoyles. The Gargoyles guys get to do Fantastic Four. That's how you do this thing. And then you get to do an homage of an homage. Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti literally doing an homage of an homage. So more covers. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? That's Perillo right there. That's just a great cover. A handful of those issues, they'll either be here or they won't. This is original Weisman Gargoyle stuff too, and they're about to start collecting this. So I guess if you miss it could be worse for you. This is really special here. This is not new this week. It's been out for a little bit, but I've been hoarding them because it was a Kickstarter, and we're one of a few stores that have it and have access to it and are in good with the creators of it, and it is G.I. Joe for adults. It's, if G.I. Joe wasn't for kids, it's G.I. Joe if they had swear words and some blood. That's a really good way of putting it, and I think that you'll really enjoy this. I have a review of this coming. Hellboy and the BPRD. This is really great what Mike has been doing with the Hellboy storylines. Just a couple of issues, 1 or 2 issues, doing the whole storyline. 1 of 2, the Ghost Ships of Labrador, and there's a Labrador. And so it's just great that he's still able to just keep telling these stories in this universe and going to the well and keeping people happy and keeping it short. I think that's so important these days, that you can't let stories run. You can't let there be a break-in, and there's a number of titles. Marvel has done it here recently, and there's been a couple of independents as well. And DC, they're all guilty of it. They all end up doing it. I can point to at least one on each of these shelves right now that has been delayed to the point where people have lost interest in it, and it's unfortunate. Hopefully they don't do it with this one. This is a big one for me. I'm a huge Turtles fan, and I thought this would be fun. It's all Jolly Green Giants right here, right? It's the Turtles and Godzilla, and I love this Saturday morning cartoon style presentation here. You have your Godzilla, you have your Godzuki, and you get the boys and Master Splinter, and this is Tim Seeley doing the story on this. There's your obligatory Godzilla meets whoever and is about to step on them. And the first thing I thought of when I saw that is just a classic. If you've never seen it, look it up. I'm sure it's out there still. I didn't go, and it just crossed my mind. I didn't go look to see if it's still out there, but I'm sure it is. It's Bambi meets Godzilla, or maybe it's Godzilla meets Bambi. It's classic internet. All back, you want to talk about back in the day. It's about just as dated as maybe that storyline was, as in terms of the actual age of it, not dating. I'm not trying to say it's dated as in the story is old, in terms of the way you receive the story. I mean, in its literal age. And it dates back, way back, early internet, what we understand to be the internet anyway. as it appears today. And it's either Godzilla meets Bambi or Bambi meets Godzilla, and it's a very short cartoon. You'll some of you will love it, some of you will hate me for telling you that it exists. I thought this Junie Ba cover was really, really cool. You get your, what is it, Leozilla, maybe, I guess. Rob Liefeld, Youngblood. Really cool first panel in this one. This is a new storyline, which is, it's kind of risky. A bunch of these guys have relaunched storylines for, again, it's in this same time period, really, that I'm talking about when I mentioned back in the day, back over there a shelf or so ago. This is from all this same time period, and some of them have done really well, like that one. There's a new Witchblade available. And we have several covers, and then the others have not done well. They've tried to relaunch and they have not done well. Maybe they've done well in other places. They certainly haven't done well here. They haven't hung on. But so Youngblood is getting this treatment, and we'll see. It's a Bad Rock. It's the whole crew, Chapel. They're all back, and just kind of the beginning. I really enjoyed it because they're sort of flying. The team is flying over on their way to do a mission, and they fly over sort of multiple locations, and Spawn looks up and sees them flying over, and Savage Dragon sees them, and Shadowhawk sees them, all in their various little cities or locations or whatever, and it gets better from there. Last one or two of those covers left right there. Vampirilla Armageddon number 5 hits, and one Linsner. Jeez, it's really not that hard. I've said it a million times. The last one of those, and Dynamite, Blood Red, still have a couple of those left in there. And so this was kind of interesting. So this is Die Loaded number 1, and this is a book about some gamers, people who or they're ultimately going to be gamers, I guess, because they get sucked into this malevolent game, and it's not Jumanji. But it is, I guess they call it Goth Jumanji, and so they get sucked into this game and have to go through the trials, of trying to get out of the game. But here's the game. If you want to play the game, we have a couple of versions, a couple of different covers, I guess, of the Quick Start edition here of the game, and this game that is depicted in this comic book here, you can go here and play the thing, and it's an actual role-playing game. What'll they think of next? On the polls, that's the prize for this month. This is a 1 in 25 Absolute Batman Annual number 1. I believe that it's going to be at least a minor key when it's all said and done. There's a little hustle and bustle. It's an anthology book. There's some talk about it in the sort of post-release. People are liking it, and there's good vibe about it, and that's always a good thing when we're talking about some of these newer comics, because they don't necessarily always hold up in story. We have tons of these bundles. We keep working on them. Well, Ben keeps working on them. He may have ADHD. We're gonna have to get that looked at. Mocha the cat and his forever family. We're trying to carry more manga, and we're trying to carry some stuff that is suitable for younger people and people with interests other than sort of tentacle things, and but not that that's all what there is, but you get the point. Is that we're just trying to provide a little bit of variety for people without necessarily competing with those guys down the road that really have such a huge selection and variety. Although I do have a vintage collection that's coming in here. It'll be available here real soon, any time now. So if you are after any manga stuff, you may, I don't know, you may want to check it out. There's some good stuff in there. and some statues, some books, a number of different things. I can't wait to get it out there. But this is brand new. This was just don't mind my cut. I was power washing the deck, and it's a brand new power washer, and the handle, the wand, it has this molding, and it's split, and it's right where you grip it, right where you would grip it to disconnect the hose from the wand, and right where that split is, it just ripped a layer of my skin off. And yes, it hurt as much as it sounds like. But the Mocha Cat is really cute. There's sort of little 4-panel stories about the cat things that cats do, stuff that cats do. it's cats. I just thought it was fun, and it'd be just one more way to reach people with their interests and get them to be reading and get them to explore these new and wonderful worlds. Here, this world right here isn't so new, but it's pretty wonderful, and frankly, nobody ever brings the loose individual copies of the comic books in. Nobody ever brings them in here. I literally, in 5 years, have had 2 copies of Invincible come in the door. One number 1 and one number 50. But here's these collected trades. This is the latest version of it. This I'm selling here as a set for $150. That's a heck of a deal if you're talking about the cover price, and it beats anything that is available online from what I can tell in terms of the pricing for it. And we still make money. How is that gonna work out? That's fantastic, right? But the bigger thing about this is so you can't pull this one apart. But we can get all of these. The 12 just came out. All of these are available. If you want to get this, you can add it to your pull. You could do one a month. You could do one a week. Whatever you want to do. They range from $12 to $15 a piece. And so you can count the value there, right? It's 12 issues. You're getting at least 2 issues free right there at an average of $15 a piece. So that price would be basically about the same. It actually maybe even more if you tried to do it on a pull. No, because it would be 10%, so it would be the same. Because the discount on these for us is not as great. Sometimes it is. Some of the things it is. But for the comics, we'll give the 20% on the pull. That's what I was talking about over there. If you're on a pull, you can win that comic book, or if you add a new title to your existing pull, whatever, if you were to do this, if you want to get set up on that and start getting Invincible and read that before it's gone again, and you have to wait for the next new release of it. You know what the deal is. They're either here or they won't be when you get here, and I may or may not be here myself. Do us a favor and click that like button and share it around and get the word around that we're here, because we're a pretty good a secret here in town. It amazes me how many times in any given week people will stop by and say, well, I didn't realize you guys were here. How long have you been here? How can you have been here for 5 years? I work right down the street. Or the other story is, I work right down the street and I haven't had a chance to come in yet. There's a couple of nice little books right there that just wandered in here. They hadn't had a chance to come in yet, and they finally get to. So we really are one of Topeka's best kept secrets, and we would like that to no longer be true. So give it a like and a share if you would, please.